All right, guys, these are car mistakes you cannot come back from. And the last mistake you will have nightmares from. The first one is driving without oil. Now you're sitting here thinking like, duh, driving without oil, we know it's bad for your car. But what you don't know is what actually happens to your car when you drive without oil. Well, it can cause a quick death to your car and to your engine, because if there isn't enough lubrication or any lubrication at all, this is going to make your car overheat and send an early grave to your Honda Civic that was supposed to last over 200,000 miles. But unfortunately, in your case, we probably got to 60K and you just didn't put in any oil. But you're wondering, how are you supposed to know if your car has no oil or not? Well, you use a little stick. You lift the hood, you grab the little stick, and you see the level. Or if you're driving and you see a red light of the oil can, that means you need to lock in and put some oil in that car. Now, the next one is filling up with diesel. Now, this one is actually more common than you think. I've seen pranks on TikTok where someone tells another person or their significant other that they filled up their car with a funny green looking handle. Yes, I guess it's a joke and haha, all that. But at the end of the day, this really does happen. And I'm gonna show you a clip of one of those TikTok pranks.
And I just used that one. It was cute. It was green. But what? It was cheap.
How long ago did you put it?
Well, I took it and I drove your car around.
Oh.
Like I got, well, not around, but I got food, and then I went to the gas station, and then I came home.
You're lying.
No, why?
If you happen to be a victim of accidentally grabbing the wrong colored handle and filled your car with it, this is what's going to happen. So your car, luckily for you, will not explode, but instead it just won't start at all. Or if it does start, you won't get very far driving. It's just going to shut off, okay? Your car is not meant to handle diesel. It's just not the same as gasoline just because they're both liquids and they both go into the same spots. Now, your engine isn't fully gone, but there are certain components that need to be replaced, mandatory in order for your car to get back up and working. But if you just so happen to recently fill your car up with diesel and you happen to be watching my video, don't start your car. Just push it over and call a professional to suction out all the diesel, and you could just fill it up with gas and call it a day. Don't make that mistake. Just don't start the car and yani, you'll be fine. Now, the next mistake is driving on a flat. Now, getting a flat tire is something common that happens all the time. Whether or not it was on purpose, doesn't matter. Literally 99% of the time, it's never on purpose. But just don't drive on it, okay? I understand that there may be a gas station about 5 to 7 minutes away from your destination with an air compressor, but it's just not worth driving on your flat. You're going to ruin the actual rim. You have to buy an entirely new wheel by itself. And who's trying to do all that? The best thing you can do at the moment is either fill it up with like a tire pump or like a wheel pump or something, or just use the spare if you have one. If you don't have one, good luck. Call a friend to pump it up, whatever. Just don't drive on it, okay? Now, the next big one is fixing electrical issues on your own. Now, unless you're an absolute genius and you know exactly what you're doing to the T, I do not recommend you doing this whatsoever, okay? Some of us like to follow TikTok tutorials and Chris fix whatever. Yani, just don't fix electrical issues with your car, okay? You could short circuit the entire thing and it could just accidentally turn into Bumblebee and you don't have a car anymore. So it's not worth doing something this intense and important. And just leave it up to the professionals. Now, the next problem and the next mistake that you can't come back from, it's ignoring brake issues. Now, brakes are literally one of the most important components of your entire car. And if it's not one of the most, it might be the most, because obviously you have to stop your car. And if you drive around with brake issues, you're putting yourself and everyone else around you at risk. Like you're going 80 miles per hour and suddenly you can't stop. So what are some brake issues? First of all, we have worn out brake pads. Okay, man, just get these replaced. If you keep ignoring this, you will actually end up wearing down the metal and ruining your stopping power. Also, if your brake fluid is leaking, that is not good, and that also can weaken your braking power. Just know if there's anything going on, squeaking or just anything funny with your brakes in one of the million ways that they can start acting up, please lock in and get it fixed, because this is not something you can avoid, okay? It's not like a check engine light where if you turn on the music loud enough, the check engine light just magically disappears, okay? It doesn't work like that. Now, finally, the biggest mistake that you cannot come from. And now this is a mistake I almost made. I'm gonna tell you a story. One day I was driving to Best Buy. It was 8 p.m. and I wanted to buy a gift for someone. Now I left the house at around 5 p.m. And the only reason why I left that late is because it was raining the entire day and I didn't feel like driving in the rain. I drove to this Best Buy and they have this huge parking lot. But for whatever reason, there's a giant divot in the parking lot, meaning that if it rains, all the rainwater can just accumulate like it's a giant bowl. Now, it was really dark and I have yellow headlights, okay? I don't have those new LED bright flash banging headlights. I can only see so far and there were no street lights, nothing, okay? And I drove. And when I drove, out of nowhere, I find myself in a giant puddle of water. It's not even a puddle at this point. It's a lake. It's a pond I just find myself in, and I get so scared. Mind you, I already had momentum driving into the pond, but if I didn't have any momentum and I just stopped my car in the middle of it, I wouldn't be able to move, and I wouldn't be here right now today, okay? Because I would just still be heartbroken over losing my car. And I was so scared that the water was gonna get into the air intake and ruin everything just because I wanted to buy a gift. So my advice to you is don't try to risk driving your car in a giant body of water, because you're gonna have to deal with hydrolocking. If you don't know what that is, it's when water enters the combustion chamber of an engine and it stops the pistons from moving, which means your car stops moving. And I live in a city where if it rains, it pours, okay? There are times when I can't get home and I'm stuck at a Walgreens parking lot because there's nowhere I can go. And all these Jeeps and trucks finally serve their purpose and they start driving over the water and all this. But me and my little sedan and my Toyota Camry, I can't go anywhere because I'm stuck and the water is at the size of the height of the car, okay? So yeah, do not ever risk doing that. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Yalla, bye.